Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Barbara Rogers. Joining me in the studio now is Lance Toma. He is the Executive Director of the Asian and Pacific Islander Wellness Center. And thank you for coming by today to talk with us.
Thanks so much, Barbara.
Tell me about the center and what the main focus is of the Wellness Center.
Sure. We've been around for 24 years providing HIV and health services to the Asian and Pacific Islander communities, particularly around raising visibility and providing services for people living with and at risk for HIV.
Now, 24 years ago, mainly all we heard about was gay men, and for the most part, gay white men who were being affected by HIV/AIDS.
Yes.
More recently, we hear a lot about the African American community being the fastest growing community of infections with HIV/AIDS. We very seldom hear much about Asian and Pacific Islanders. Why is that?
Exactly. Well, definitely the epidemic is hitting all communities of color very hard, in African American communities, Latino communities, and in Asian and Pacific Islander and Native American communities. Rates of infection are increasing in both men and women in the API communities, and this is why at API Wellness Center we have been really intentional about creating a national HIV/AIDS Asian and Pacific Islander Awareness Day on May 19th every year in order to promote the issue in our communities.
And what will be taking place on that day?
Well, there's a national campaign, so we'll have over 25 cities involved and possibly more, organizing events in their cities, raising awareness. Here in San Francisco, we have a big event at the Design Center that we hold, where we will be educating the community, we will be raising money for my organization, and actually honoring two very important leaders, Jeff and Sandy Mori, who are a very prominent API couple in San Francisco, and I'm going to be very honored to be honoring them. And
what have they done that made you decide to honor them?
They have been advocates for API health. They see HIV as a critical issue, and so in their substance abuse work, in their work that they do with the elderly community throughout the Bay Area, they integrate HIV into their work, and they advocate as leaders and elders in our community that we must talk about HIV.
Do you think that as much attention is being paid to the disease now because there are such effective treatments that people are not feeling the urgency the way they did maybe 20 years ago?
Yes, there is. There's a different level of maybe complacency that I see, but also part of my work and part of the work that I do with many colleagues throughout San Francisco and throughout the country is that we can't be complacent. The disease of HIV is increasing in our communities, and we have to stay vigilant. We have to educate young people about this. We have to educate our elders, our grandmothers and grandfathers, our aunties and uncles, so that we're all talking about this, because ultimately it's about our health.
Why do you think it's increasing? Do you think people are not paying attention to the many messages that are out there?
Yeah, and I think that the level of stigma and shame and silence that's still attached to HIV. We've known that even when this first started in the 80s, and we still continue to fight that shame and silence and stigma in our communities.
So people keep quiet and therefore pass it on because they're not being tested, they're not talking about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, good luck with your event, and again, it's coming up on May 19th.
Yes.
And is there a cost?
We have a range of ticket prices and sponsorship levels, but we encourage the community to show up, and we'll have events throughout the week.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Your website will be on the screen where people can get in touch with you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Barbara.
And thank you for being with us for another edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I hope you'll be with us again next time. Bye-bye.